And then he kept wiping blood, wiping. My sister was even so traumatized. And then he sews it up. He sews it up haraka with a blue thread, a very ugly thread. He sews it up. And then he puts the bandage. Then now when I wake up, when I now sit, I start feeling pain because the numb has gone down, the painkiller, whatever it is. Then he tells me, I'm checking, I can't see painkillers in my office. So just walk to Nairobi Hospital because he was at Nelson Naori. Go to Nairobi Hospital at the emergency, they'll give you a painkiller. Imagine that's what happened. That's how we left his office. We went all the way to Nairobi Hospital walking, we queued, and that's how I got painkillers.
Guys, don't ever let breast cancer lumps in the breast, don't ever let that happen because it is risky. It's either the fine needle, because when the needle goes in, it comes out and they block the tumor, they block it so that the particles don't come out. So when this doctor goes in and cuts, he has exposed. So the particles should be now spreading, So that's why this is a learning place. This is a woman of God that has come here to tell you things not to do. You walked over to Nairobi Hospital.
So of course, I got a painkiller. Then we went home. And later on, I'll mention this particular doctor, and God was really faithful. This particular doctor was summoned. He was asked, why didn't you go in and take out the whole lump? He was summoned at Nairobi Hospital Tumor Board. This is a board where a panel of all the doctors, surgeons, oncologists, radiologists sit and discuss a case. And I thank God I got that privilege. So he was asked, why didn't you go in and remove the whole thing? And I suspect, because that time the biopsy, they took it to South Africa. That was back in 2017. So it took 3 weeks for me to get the results back. So I suspect that is what made that disease spread. The day he tampered with that, because I didn't have side effects of lungs or breathing issues. So I suspect that period of 3 weeks, the tampering, that's when now it spread and went to the lungs. So of course we go home. My uncle was very pissed. He even felt like punching that man. And he's still a doctor, he still operates. So anytime you text me and ask me, is this the same doctor? I know him. He still operates. He's still there. He still operates, unfortunately. So of course we got home. Then of course I spoke to my uncle. So now my uncle took me to his doctor, who's an amazing doctor. You see the way Diana has a very beautiful scar. Diana's scars are very beautiful. Me, I've seen some surgeons, they just do funny things. They leave you with very ugly scars. Diana's scar is perfect, just like mine, a very beautiful scar. And me, I didn't opt to do reconstructive because I said, first of all, I've gone through this treatment. Then again, you want to take me to theater, and where will they get that extra meat? If they take another extra meat, they will go direct to my thighs or my legs.
Yes.
I'm a loose woman, so that's I was like, no, I am fine. Number one, this body is not to please anyone, and I'm not, it's all about me. So I'm perfectly fine. And me, God was very gracious to me. I still put on my normal padded bras. No one can even know I don't have a breast. And who cares? It is just a part of
My
God.
children, for 2 weeks now, I've lost my breast, my prosthetics here. There's a child who likes taking them and fixing them. So I don't know where she kept it. We cannot find my breast. As you guys pray, please pray I find my breast. There are some clothes that need those breasts. Go on, Pauline.
Yeah. So this is now my uncle's doctor. He's called Mr. Richard Baraza. You can also note the names. He's called Mr. because I think he studied his medicine in UK. But he's a very amazing doctor, and I've referred so many patients to him because with him, he recommends. He looks at the situation, he assesses, he recommends you to the best doctors in the country. Whether it's to do with any type of cancer. Even for my mom, we went to see him, and he recommended to go. He got us a surgeon, and he got us even the oncologist. He's the one who recommended my oncologist. So he tells me, go see so and so. And because the fact that he'll send you to go and see, and so when you go with that note, now these doctors will not even have space to mess up, because they know this is a recommendation, and these chances are this case will be tracked. Because I know we have those challenges of where here in Kenya, sometimes doctors just tick a box. They are not really into the whole diagnosis and all. So of course, now I went to see him. Then he said, let's bring in a radiologist. And again, another thing, anytime you have a cancer diagnosis, the doctors have to work as a team. Remember this other doctor who did the biopsy, he was making decisions on himself. But now with my doctor, Baraza, the surgeon, and there's the radiologist, and then now there's the oncologist. So they were discussing, what do we do? So the first thing, and my oncologist was Dr. Catherine Nyongesa, the owner of Texas Cancer Center. However, I did all my treatment at Nairobi Hospital. There was an option of my employer to fly me overseas because of the stage of the disease. It was stage 4. So I know if I negotiated, they would have sent me to wherever, whether it's India or wherever. But I knew deep down I wanted to see my son every day. That time I wasn't really a born again believer. And when I say born again, I knew God, I loved God, but I didn't have an intimate relationship with Christ. So that time I said, no, I don't want to go outside the country. I want to be seeing my son every day. So people, power of your mouth, that one in itself was a prayer. I didn't know. It was a confession. And to be honest, for that whole period from October 2017 to May 2019, there was no single time I was ever admitted. I was only admitted when I did after the mastectomy surgery. But there was no day I was admitted. There was no day I was rushed to hospital because of complications of chemo or radio, or there was no day I had to get blood transfusion. Tell me if that's not the power of God.
Hallelujah. Power of God.
And then another thing I didn't mention, anytime you get a cancer diagnosis, please, as much as you don't want to accept, please accept it. Because if you accept it, you will seek for treatment. And if you seek for treatment, you will believe that treatment will work. So acceptance is the number one determination of you recovering. And take it from me, most people struggle because they do not accept. And when you accept, you'll find it's easy to talk about it and share it with other people. I was very open about my treatment and my journey. Of course, the first months you struggle, but accept. And the only person who can also help you accept is God.
Yes.
So, of course, now giving you my treatment plan. So, of course, the surgeon said we have to wait for the biopsy. That's 3 weeks. So when they came, the same doctor who messed me up called me, so your results are back. It confirms it's cancer, and so I asked him, what stage? Between stage 2, stage 3. That's what he said. I said, okay. And I asked him which type. I think it's written here HER2 positive. I said, so I want you to come in so that we plan for surgery to take out the whole breast. I just said, you're high. So of course, I still had to go to see him because I needed my report. That was it. So once I took the report, I went back to Richard Baraza. Now that was my surgeon. And remember, imagine he was my surgeon and he's not a breast doctor and he's the one who did my mastectomy. Let me tell you, this guy did a perfect job in the surgery. I don't have issues. It's just flat. It's just a perfect, amazing scar. It's amazing. Like, I don't have issues with it. So he told me, let's bring in now Catherine Nyongesa, the oncologist. Let's bring in the radiologist. So I went to Catherine at Texas because you see that's her clinic. But now I was doing treatment at Nairobi Hospital. She said, I want you to go for a heart test to see if your heart is strong enough to take chemo. And I want you also to go and do either CT scan or MRI, I can't remember, for chest and abdomen, just to be sure the disease has not spread. So guys, that's important. Don't rush for treatment if you have not done scans of the chest and abdomen, because it looks at the surrounding organs. It looks at the surrounding organs, and once the doctors are clear, they will know how to administer the chemo. Please take note of that. So of course I went, my heart was perfect, it was strong. Came back the next day to Catherine, the results for the scans were ready. So now again, she gave me another bombshell. It's stage 4. So I'm like, how can I have stage 4 breast cancer? So her words were, so we'll give you treatment. We try and prolong your days. Or we try and see if the medication will work. So there's no confidence of you will pull through. Stage 4 is just for trying. In fact, if you look at my wallpaper for my phone, the saving is, I went back. So of course I was with my uncle. So he's driving, I'm driving. So I cried. Then I was like, the way you're crying like this, how will you get home? Huh? So I was like, either way, there are 2 cars here. I need to get home.
Yes.
Do you know, I drove all the way from Mbagathi, Texas Cancer Center, all the way to Thika Road, USIU. That time I was in school doing my master's. I don't know how I got there. I sat on that parking lot and I said, God, I have surrendered. Remember, I was born again, but ilikuwa that born again of 2-2. You're in the world.
Of
You're in,
lukewarm. Of lukewarm,
yes.
not hot or
That
cold.
lukewarm. That lukewarm. Like, God, it's okay. I surrender. Not knowing when you release it and acknowledge you're weak, that is when the power of God and strength of God comes in. That is when you surrender and let Him deal. So I didn't know that is the prayer of
God
surrender I was
wants you
doing.
to be still. He does not want you to move around and think you can do it until you surrender and recognize that all power belongs to Him. Now He comes and takes control. Our God.
Fine. I have been escaping this thing of salvation. I give up. I surrender. I don't know anything about chemo. I don't know anything about radio. But that's fine because Catherine, the oncologist, had recommended I have to do 8 sessions of chemo because I have to start with chemo because they want to reduce the size of the lump. It was 6 centimeters, so that if they need to preserve or save the breast, they'll have that opportunity. And number 2, it had gone to the lungs, so I had nodes in the lungs, so they needed to clear whatever was in the lungs first. That is why I started with chemo. So she recommended I do 4 sessions of chemo, then I'll go back for review. Then after that, they'll guide or advise what next. So back to USIU, I mean, there, I said, I'm tired of crying, I'm tired of swollen eyes. God, show me. I ask for favor, I ask for doctors who know what they are doing, people who are not after money. Just lead me and help me. And that was a prayer of surrender, which to date, and that's the time I also prayed, I must live to walk my son down the aisle, because that time he was 1 year, 8 months. Now he's 8 years. So of course, now that started the whole treatment journey. Chemo was really intense, so I did 8 sessions of chemo. And another thing I think I shared with Dana was, after the 4th, now for chemo for me it was really rough, really bad. Of course, I lost all the hair. I became very black. My nails were black. My tongue was black. I lost some weight. I used to be between 58 kilos, so I moved to around 54. That's the minimum weight I was. And now for me, chemo was once every 3 weeks. So for the first week, I'll be so sick, I'll throw up. You do not seriously throwing up until your throat is paining. Anything that goes in must come out. Even cold water, it comes out when it's still cold. But I will still force myself to eat because you're not given any medication. So it is only that food that will help you recover. They force you to eat, because they'll continue forcing you to eat. So I eat, finish, put the plate down, go vomit, come back and sleep. So I'll vomit like even 8 to 10 times in a day for a week. Then now the other 2 weeks, I was perfect. I even went back to school to finish my last semester for my master's. So let me tell you, even when you get a cancer diagnosis, don't sit there pity-patting yourself. Thank God I was given leave. I was off work for 9 months. But my employer was, in fact, I return glory to God. You know, sometimes we focus on the problem and then we forget anything good that is happening. Always learn to push yourself to focus on the positive. So when I was going through chemo and suffering at night, the only thing, and by there I didn't go to keep camp in churches or allowing people to lay hands on me. It was just me and talking to God. At night, I'm in my room, I open YouTube, people are sleeping, I play gospel, I repeat, I cry to God in those gospels. I just tell God, hey, today this pain is unbearable. Please, God, help me. He gives me peace, I'm able to sleep, and that was it. In fact, because of my immunity, I didn't even used to go to church. I think I only went to church that December, Christmas, and that was it. So, of course, now that was the journey in between. So a bit in struggling. And they said now because I was off work for 9 months, my employer was still paying me on full salary. They gave me the best support. They're the ones who catered for my medical bills. I didn't spend a single coin. I didn't do any single harambe. So after the fourth session, that was around December, I went for review. So getting to hospital, they do scans.
Wait, before you get there, I want to stop. And someone has reminded me, which I was going to forget. Someone has written down, and this is a replica of your story. I told you you're my sister because I also felt a lump when my baby was 2 weeks old. She's now turning 4. And it was COVID time, 2020, no visitors, nothing. And then you've just mentioned something here, which I was also still going to mention. You've mentioned you finished your treatment and you went back and finished your master's. The cancer came on. I was about to finish my PhD. I finished my treatment and I went back and finished it. Because when you know the Lord, you know that He wants you to live. And He tells you, don't worry about tomorrow. Yesterday night before I went to bed, I talked about the pity party. Because I've seen a cancer patient who goes to lives. When people are in a live session, she'll request to go up and she'll always go, oh, you people are talking about other things and some of us are fighting cancer. Oh, you people are fighting over this and some of us are fighting to live. And I thought, look, woe unto you puts all your focus onto man. As in, people's lives will never stop because you have cancer. No, their lives will not stop, you know. So focus onto God. Focus onto God alone. You know? All right, go on. I saw that comment and I said, if I don't mention this, I will not mention it. Yes.
Just to go back, and why I was mentioning about my employer. Now, when I was really suffering in those days of chemo, I will tell God, God, I'm in pain. Help me feel better. Then I'll be like, but I thank you, God, that I have an employer who has paid for all my medical bills. And that bill, you can imagine Nairobi Hospital, that bill was very expensive. So I think it's just good we acknowledge that even organizations, they should just be supporting some of these cases because they give me an opportunity to get the best treatment according to really what I wanted. So I really also, again, that's why I'm telling you, the Lord was really in this journey. We didn't have that burden of looking for funds. And surround yourself with positive people. I remember people were asking, so how did you maneuver? So I had only 2 people, one who had gone through cancer. I think actually both, they had gone through cancer. So I'll just ask them, what do you expect? What should I do? There's a time I joined a support group. One, it was a group that is in overseas. Let me tell you, I didn't survive a day. Those people were so negative. Please, let us avoid negative environments. Let us avoid negative people. Anytime you're going through a diagnosis, avoid negative environments at all costs because it has an impact on how you heal. That group, people were cursing God. That group, people were just, we are doomed. This is it. Like you're just speaking so much negativity, and this mouth has power. So I was just like, I can't deal this. Let me just leave. So that's what helped me maneuver. So when I went for the results, that was in December, they do the scans, and guess what? There's no disease in the lungs. There are no nodes. Hey, so I was like, so this medication
100%
has
response. Yes.
work. It makes you sick. It makes you worse. God worked through that medication. Please, because I know sometimes someone will say, I'm born again, but you don't want to go for treatment. Please, take time and seek help. And another thing, don't mix herbal and this, is it English medicine or what? What do I call it? Do not mix. Those things you keep on mixing herbs. Those herbs have a weight on your kidney and
My
livers.
sister, you have mentioned something that I talk about here every day. And I say, if you want to go herbal, go herbal. If you want to go scientific medicine, go that way. Please do not mix the two. I talked about it severally. A family decided to go under and do exactly that. Their mom was the one who was sick, is the one who is unwell. Now the mom cannot talk. The mom is behaving crazy. And they asked us again. I said, no, we don't get involved. We advised you, but you did against. So,
The only thing I recommend is do juicing. Do your traditional vegetables, the mrenda, the sagas, those are powerful vegetables. And get a juicer. Do a lot of carrot, orange juice. That blend is amazing. And I think even that's a thing that I really incorporated in my mom's journey, and it really just helped even prolong her days on earth.